Okay, so I got my drink and I wanted to talk to you guys one-on-one. You know, subscribers to content creator or whatever you want to call me. And at the same time, anyone who doesn't know me, this isn't the way I usually do my videos. In fact, I try to edit them down, but it's really kind of freeform and not really scripted. Kind of from the heart. This is really from the heart. And also, this is not something that I normally do. In fact, these type of videos are the ones that I put out there and say that no one should do. These are ones that I feel like no one should get involved with. In fact, even though it might help your brand one way or the other, I feel like these videos end up hurting you in the long run. I mean, you just get involved with drama, things that you're not really wholly related to, and everything else. And primarily, I've told this to almost everybody that I've ever worked with, people in the Dragon Ball community, people in the Walking Dead community, and everything else like that. So I really feel like I should preface all of this by saying that. But what I have to say right now, and I won't give them the satisfaction of mentioning the person who I'm going after in this video. But if you know anything about what's going on, I'm sure you can tell. But I feel compelled to at this point. In fact, I'm sick to my stomach, guys. I'm absolutely sick to my stomach about what I've been seeing in the Dragon Ball community over the last couple months. Almost the entire year of 2019, and the way that one of our biggest content creators in the entire Dragon Ball community is being maliciously attacked almost every single day with multiple videos about his character, the way he runs his channel, and what he thinks about his fans. I'm absolutely sick from all of this. Of course, if you've been paying attention in the YouTube landscape of Dragon Ball, whatever, you know that I'm talking about Danny or GEEKDOM101. And before I talk about anything else, I just have to say, from the bottom of my heart, literally not scripted, I love Danny. Danny was the only reason that I'm still doing YouTube. He is the only reason that I'm still doing YouTube. In fact, I don't feel like I would have lasted maybe 6 months if not for Danny. And the fact that him and Dino Rhymestyle, were the ones who kind of discovered me on this platform, gave me an outlet, and then Danny reached out to me and it's like, hey, you should work with me. And he gave me my first big step in the idea that, hey, maybe what I have to say, what I have to put out there, people would listen to. This person at that point with like 200 or 150, I can't even remember at this point how many hundreds of thousands of subs he had. He reached out to me, someone who had, and I guarantee everyone who's listening to this right now, you cannot go back and verify this, I don't even know, but someone who had maybe, what, 200, if that subs, this guy out of nowhere, hey, come work with me. Someone I do not know, someone I have never met before, come work on my channel. Come let me talk to you. Let's have conversations deep into the middle of the night. Or at least for me, deep into the middle of the night. I know people stay up a long time, but that was incredibly useful to me. That was incredibly beneficial for me as a content creator. And as I've said before, multiple times, I would not be who I am today without people like Danny or GEEKDOM101. Danny went out of his way to make sure that I felt at home in this community, that I had a voice, and that I was able to put it out there and I could say whatever I want, despite whether the fact that it would get me 1 billion subscribers or not, or 100,000 or whatever it has to be. He's even told me, he's joked with me before that I am way too out there for the community, that I couldn't possibly gain any following because everything that I've thrown out there is way too ridiculous for the future of the community. And all of that is said in jest. I mean, obviously Danny is joking and everything, and I appreciate him as a friend and every bit of advice that he's given me throughout my tenure on YouTube. My goal, and one of the reasons I started this entire journey, was because of Danny. And I feel like that is not inclusive to just me. I don't feel like that is solely on me. I feel like there are so many content creators, people, possibly including the people who are attacking him now, who are only in this community who are only doing this work because of Danny. And now he has to live with people completely soiling his name. And you know what? As I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't want to get involved. I even told people that I didn't want to get involved because it had nothing to do with me and I didn't really have anything to prove, or no one had anything to prove. But you know what really pissed me off? It's the fact that the recording of Danny that was put out there about his seemingly loathsome feelings about the Dragon Ball fandom, and the fact that these people are out there and he doesn't really appreciate them. He doesn't really appreciate the Dragon Ball series or anything else like that. In a 20-second clip, I can tell you, based off my own memory, because I am not the motherfucker who sits there silently in a conversation, secretly recording everything that's said over the course of probably a 6 or 7 hour conversation. Maybe that person needs to come forward and tell us that the conversation that they recorded had a lot more context and a lot more nuance than the 20-second version that was released to the public. Because even though that conversation was recorded, and I shit you not, that conversation was recorded based on the best of my memory around a 1.5 years ago, maybe somewhere around that, because I don't have a recording, I don't have a saved file with the date or anything else like that, but I remember that recording, and you can probably hear me in that fucking recording. Then you can probably take my word for what I'm gonna say here. What Danny was saying in that recording has nothing to do with the way that it was brought to the public. It has nothing to do with the Dragon Ball fandom or anything related to Dragon Ball. It has everything to do, at least as far as my memory goes, with the whole idea of YouTube as a career and how volatile it is and what you need to do in order to survive. That's what I remember it being. That's what I remember Danny saying, and that is what I remember Danny telling me from the very moment that I met him. Always business conscious, always someone thinking ahead and figuring out what the next step is. That's one of the reasons he's been able to grow his brand more than almost every single other person that I've met. And yes, he gets lucky from time to time where his growth corresponds to a growth or a popularity of one series or another. That's totally fine. That's how YouTube works. But what really matters is the person behind the brand and what they're willing to bring to the table. And by and large, every single time, Danny has proven himself. He has proven that he loves this brand, he loves the fans, and he loves everything related to Dragon Ball. And you know what? I'm going to drop some freaking truth bombs on everybody listening to this. If you do not love Dragon Ball, you can't cover Dragon Ball. 100,000%. You cannot cover this series, especially in the way that Danny does. Talking about various updates, giving everyone the news that they crave, and you can't even deny the fact that people, audiences in general, want news. They want confirmations. They want to know that this character or this is happening in the near future, and they want to know the news they're digesting is factual. It's something that they can trust. That's one of the things that Danny has done time and time again. He's built his entire brand on the concept of, you might not like him, but you can trust him. You know that he loves the brand. You know that everything he puts out there, because there is some truth to everything that he puts out there and something that we can possibly see in the future of Dragon Ball. And to dispute or criticize or even suggest otherwise is, I don't think you've been paying attention. In fact, I think you're just salty. And I feel like I've seen this way too many times in the YouTube spectrum or the YouTube career system or something else like that. As I've already said, I wouldn't be anyone without Danny or GEEKDOM101, whatever you want to call him at this point. I wouldn't be anything without Danny, and I feel like a lot of people could say the exact same thing. I've met so many people on this platform, and even people I haven't met, I'm sure the only reason they got into it is because Danny, he made it seem possible. He made it seem likely. Oh, I can do reviews. I can do coverage of news and all this other stuff. But it takes more than that. It takes absolute 100% passion. And the person who will not be named in this video, not one time, not tagged, not put in anything else, he's going to have to go looking for this. Maybe he's going to have to put Geekdom's name in the search bar or something else like that, and he's going to have to attack me. I don't fucking care. He's a coward. He has no love for Dragon Ball. You want to say he has love for Dragon Ball? You know what takes love for Dragon Ball? Having covered this for years, it's covering the news. It's covering things that people actually want to hear about, not fucking petty drama that you build your name on. How fucking pathetic are you, where everything that you post and everything that you are as a content creator, as a man on this platform, is nothing but drama. As I said at the very beginning of this video, this is something that I vowed never to do, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Danny. I would not be here doing this on this channel or Real Talk or anything else like that if it wasn't for Danny. This guy gave me my first break. He gave me my second, my third, my fourth break based off of ideas I had or something. He came to me and it's like, hey, could you possibly come up with an idea for this? Because I would love to do a video for this, and I feel like people would really eat this up, and they did. He understands his brand. He understands how to interact with the people. He understands how to utilize content creators and give them a voice beyond their wildest imaginations when they're really starting to get off the air, when they're really starting to get off the ground and start figuring out who they are. And I wouldn't be here. I don't feel like a lot of us would be here if it wasn't for Danny, whether you've interacted with him or not, because at least if you're covering Dragon Ball content, if you're covering almost any content related to Dragon Ball or anime or anything else like that, you've probably heard of him, at least in passing. You've come to his channel and you felt like, I'm really inspired by what this guy does. I feel like I can do it, and I want to do it in my own way. And so you get involved like I did. Or you come across him and you say, I don't like what this guy does, I'm going to do it in my own way. So you get involved and you do it in your own way, but at least you're there. And now he's dealing with the backlash of that. With the backlash of he shouldn't be where he is because he inspired everyone else who's in the game and people who are attacking him to solely attack him because now he is the established party. It's absolute bullshit. I'm tired of it, and I want people to stop this madness. And really, even though I talk primarily about the conversation that I was a part of, a 6, 7, 8 hour conversation, I can't remember. You can't take my word as credibility, but the person who has the legitimate recordings will never release the legitimate recordings, will never release me in my full context talking with Danny about what he said in those leaked recordings from him, because if he did, it would vindicate every single person in that conversation. It would completely show what we were talking about in the context of which we were talking about it. I almost made a video on that alone. I feel like that was worth discussing. I feel like that was something that people needed to know about. But what really pushed me over the edge is not only lying about the conversation in which I was a part of, but also lying about who Danny is as a person, as a human being outside of YouTube, completely not even anything related to his online life. Attacking his character, falsely, belligerently lying about who he is as a person. I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely fucking tired of it. And you know what? I'm going to throw it out there to anyone who is a fan of Danny or GEEKDOM101 as a brand. Then I want you guys to make videos. I want you to make videos supporting this man. supporting what he's done for you, whether or not he's talked to you at all. If he has ever once acknowledged you, or if he gave you inspiration to be on this platform and you're not willing to believe all of the blatant lies that are being thrown against him, take it from someone who considers himself a dear friend. I love this man. Everything that's been spread about him, especially in the most latest video of which I'm making this video for, is a complete lie. It's so untruthful that it's almost sick to my stomach. And I know this man. I know what he talks like. I know how he sounds. I know how he types. I know everything about him over the course of 3 years and interacting with him, right? It's all lies. It's all crazy, manipulative. I can't understand why anyone would pay attention to this or believe that it's truthful, other than to just create chaos, or whether or not they don't like him in the first place. But these actions have consequences, and the only way that this is going to be silenced at this point, I realize, is that we all band together and raise our hands and say that this is all bullshit. We give our powers, we give our energy to Danny, GEEKDOM101, and tell him that it is going to be okay, because the people making so much noise about this issue, they're the minority. They're the people that you don't have to listen to anyway, because these are the people who, despite any logic or facts or anything else like that, despite any other remote evidence that might prove them otherwise, they're going to believe what they believe. And I want everyone listening to this to believe that that's not the world that we live in. And I would really hope that you've listened to this video from the heart and you understand where I'm coming from this. You understand that what you've heard, or what you think you might have heard from Danny, is not truthful. And from someone who knows Danny, knows him, considers him a friend, and has talked to him countless times, will tell you the truth about who he is, his character, and what he thinks, not only about the content that he covers, the fan base that supports him, and the series that he loves, but also who he is as an individual and the people that he loves, and the fact that he would never do any of the other things that have been accused of him in the last couple of days. I don't make these videos. I really don't. But this is just over the line for me. And I had to say something, because if I didn't say anything, who else would? I really hope that people would take my words as truthful, knowing that I'm not trying to lie to you. I'm not trying to put this on a pedestal or anything else like that. I'm just trying to give them to you as they were spoken. And I hope everyone would do their best and feel their best to support Danny, GEEKDOM101, in this time, because I feel like he's being maliciously, viciously attacked. He needs our support. And I hope you guys, whether you make videos or support him online or anything else like that, I really, really hope that y'all come to the plate and show your support and love for everything that he's done for you, whether you're willing to admit it or not. It's been real.